Hey there people on the internet, and welcome to the most godless channel of all time. Today we're discussing a boomer who lacks a life outside the internet and thus decided to bully children she disagrees with politically by psychoanalyzing their character instead of actually engaging with their ideas. If this makes you want to game end yourself, well, tough shit. I had to sit through it, so now so do you. But before this video, properly starts, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who watched my last video and decided to subscribe. I've never seen or had a video do that well in such a short amount of time, and I'm honestly humbled by all the support. I hope you guys, all the new faces and all that, enjoy your stay here. I look forward to having you all, and yeah, from the bottom of my heart again, thank you so much. It honestly means the world to me. I know it's small for most of you probably, but it really does. So yeah, enough mushy shit, let's just look at who we're dissecting today. Today's reason to ponder the orb in order to answer the age-old question of whether or not all the pain is really worth it is this Karen, aka Ariel Scarcella. Ariel has not only been on planet Earth long enough to be used as fossil fuel when she dies, but also has been on YouTube for years now. And in all that time, she somehow never managed to make a single piece of good content. She got her initial boost in subscribers by baiting 13-year-old boys with overly sexual thumbnails and titles that put her sexual lifestyle as a lesbian into the focus. So yeah, this is, and probably always will be a channel dedicated to making the most bottom-of-the-barrel content. Exactly the kind of channel I like dissing. And even though her old content was mostly harmless, just kind of cringe, if people still say that, but her new videos are not, and they are the main reason why I'm lining up my crosshair today. These days, Ariella makes the most schizophrenic armchair psychology videos by using body language to apply certain traits to kids that she disagrees with online. Because, as you guys know, it's way safer to punch down at children than it is to punch up, because these kids don't actually have a platform worth mentioning, and thus can't defend themselves. So, free views! It's free real estate! She also pumps these videos out quicker than I pump your dad after he watched me bang his wife. She's basically a tabloid magazine at this point, whose articles or, videos focus on hating gender non-conforming people. But enough talking, let's just dive into this mess already.
But it's true! Recent peer-reviewed literature demonstrated that—
Now, I hate to jump in already, but notice how this creator is quoting a study. Well, how do you think this old hag will respond?
Did you see it? It's okay. I didn't see it at first either, but 30 plus years. We're gonna watch it together again.
But it's true! Recent peer-reviewed literature demonstrated that—
Right there. You see that? That is not just any smile. There is a psychological term for it, and it is called duper's delight. And this is an extremely common, creepy smile that is fairly common with progressive leftists.
She points out that they're smiling, which according to her is a dead giveaway that they're being dishonest. Oh, you expected her to give evidence that would actually count to the study mentioned by the person in the video? Now, don't be silly. She would actually have to do some research for one of her videos before recording and have some actual integrity. And if there's one thing that I learned throughout making these videos, it's that conservatives lack wrinkles in their brain and integrity. So instead of a critical breakdown of the study, we now get her being all like, ooga booga, she smile, so she lie. Ooga boogas, this is so true, I'm so smart and you so dumb. Ooga booga, you're wrong cause you smile. Yeah.
When someone takes pleasure in deceiving others. Now that we know exactly what this is.
Yeah, it's almost like when you get people to click on your videos by baiting them with either softcore porn or bigotry in your thumbnails. Am I right, Ariel?
Psychology Today and many other sources say that this is a typical behavior of narcissistic personality disorder. Those who are antisocial and also, of course, sociopaths. I can think of a ton of these types of people, can't you? Okay, really?
I don't know, man. I consider dedicating your channel to the creation of outrage culture by taking cheap shots at queer people to be antisocial behavior. But I also don't think you have it in you to reflect on that. Almost like a narcissist that can't admit when they're wrong.
The urge to cut all of your hair off, but also grow it out as long as you can. Which will I do?
This is from a psychology article. If you've ever wondered how to tell whether someone's smile is sincere or fake, your best clue is to check the eyes. When the emotion is real, the eye muscles respond just as the lip muscles do. Both the lips and the eyes smile. When there is a forced smile, there's little or no change in the eyes.
Well, to Ariel, who as established has no understanding of human emotion whatsoever, this person is actually trying to deceive you into believing them that they can't decide whether or not they want long or short hair. Truly impossible. Someone might be struggling with how they want their hair to look. They have to be deceiving me. They can't actually be torn between options.
What really makes me feel unsafe here is the vast amount of American flags I see.
I'm really feeling unsafe with that duper smile of yours. I'm not gonna lie. You son of a... Oh my god, I swear these types of people make me feel worse each day and give me the nervous shits. I wish I was kidding. I'm not kidding.
It's really getting to me how this almost dead person is constantly accusing others of being dishonest because they're smiling, while also wearing a smile so fake that you could actually buy it at the same shop that sells you fake Gucci belts for $1.69. Also, if someone saying they get uncomfortable around an American flag gives you the nervous shits, you might want to get off the internet if you can't handle it. I know it's still very new to someone who grew up when the Beatles were in their prime. Either that, or you know, just check your dusty ass into a psych ward.
Why would enjoyment smiles at all differ from other smiles? Now this is interesting, listen to this. The differences between enjoyment and other smiles originate in functional neuroanatomy. It appears that there are two distinct neural pathways that mediate facial expressions. One pathway is for voluntary, willful facial actions, and a second for involuntary emotional facial actions. The voluntary facial movements originate in the brain's cortical motor strip and arrive at the face via pyramidal motor system. Involuntary facial movements, like those involved in an actual emotional expression, mainly arise from the subcortical nuclei and arrive at the face via extra pyramidal motor system. So not only is it visibly noticeable if you pay attention, it actually arrives to your face through a different system in your brain. Now in saying
So that kind of made sense, right? The manipulative smile arrives at the mouth differently from a real one, right? At least that's what she seems to be saying in the context of this video. But if we now read the paragraph slowly and pay attention, we can see that the paragraph is actually talking about the difference between a willed and an emotional smile. The paragraph, however, never mentions how a willing smile is any indication of the presence of malice. So it stands to reason that this person who grew up during the Cold War either never learned how to, read and write, or that there is a flaw in her reasoning here somewhere. I like to think it's the first. Crazy, it's almost like people that are making content on any platform whatsoever are trying to look their best while presenting their content. And I don't know, what's the best way to do this? Oh! Duh, right. How about a smile? I'm sure that Ariel knows this feeling all too well too. After all, I can't imagine she enjoys looking at a viewfinder only to find an old witch stare back at her. What is she pushing now? 40? Almost time for retirement, man.
White niceness as a tool of white supremacy. Did you know that most white people have mastered the art of niceness? It's 100% fake, phony, and disingenuous. Let me explain. It's a conditional niceness based on how well you perform for, coddle, and pander to whiteness, white supremacy, and white people. Basically, as long as you don't make them feel uncomfortable, don't mention white supremacy culture, don't challenge them in any way, call them out on harmful behavior, or talk about racism, they'll perform this fake niceness for you.
Now, this lady has a very damning take, right? It would be stupid to pretend that she doesn't. But is she wrong? Well, I don't think so, and ironically enough, I actually think that Ariel proves her point. Let's just, zoom in a bit. So she says that white people will only tolerate black people around them and enjoy the same rights as them, as long as black people don't mention the various injustices that they either faced in the past or are facing today. If they dare to do so, according to this lady, this would make white people uncomfortable and then reveal sides that they usually try to hide both from themselves and the outside world. And what does Ariel do? She introduces the video with this preface.
Of course, this Duper's Delight smile isn't just performed by queer people, by queer activists, by annoying woke people. No, this psychology transcends gender and sexuality and even race. We see this across the board with people simply enjoying having power over others. Think of it more as a, well, what are you gonna do about it kind of a face.
Now, why does she do this? Well, for one reason and one reason only. Ariel usually focuses her videos on bigotry against queer people. So why include this video to begin with, right? Well, because the lady in the video is talking about her experience as a black woman, it makes Ariel uncomfortable. And now she reveals through her desperate attempt to find a smile that doesn't really exist, that she doesn't just have bigoted thoughts towards queer people, but black people as well. I mean, Let's be real, is this smile really worth mentioning unless you're desperately trying to find a smile in order to push an agenda here?
Again, it's almost the entire video with this black woman. It's the, well, what are you gonna do about it kind of face. It's a bit more obvious in some spots, this spot specifically. And remember how we've also talked about the crazy eyes in these types of people? This is what we were talking about.
I also love how hard this boomer is trying to justify her bigotry with body language. Somehow, she still manages to come across like the one who's mentally ill in all of her videos. She comes across like the astrology girl in your friend group when you tell them that you're not actually a Sagittarius, after they cried you a river on how much sense it makes that you are one. Like, no, sorry honey, I'm a Cancer. I just wanted to see what you would say if I lied about it. In the same way, these people are not smiling because, they're manipulating you, but simply because they're on camera. You fucking idiot.
Talking about.
What makes you assume that I want to be mistaken as a woman? Or as a man? What makes you assume that I am either?
Now, in saying all of this, it doesn't mean that every single time somebody does something like this, they're a narcissist or they're a sociopath. Like, everybody does this at one point. Everybody lies. Everybody does something like this, similar to this at one point in their lives. But when you start to see a pattern, and you start to see it every single time, or more often than not, that's a red flag.
So even though it might seem like she's actually self-aware, for a second here, she quickly moves on to point out that this TikTok account no one's ever heard of, as a person that doesn't look like they aren't used to talking to a camera. Obviously, people can't just be allowed to be awkward. To her, this is hard evidence. These are facts. This is proof that these people are lying to you. But here's an idea. Maybe, just maybe, it's because it's strange talking to a camera, and that kind of shows, especially if you're not used to it, or if you don't have 10 jump cuts to make a concise point and form a coherent sentence like Ariel and me do it. They're just a kid who posted a video on TikTok to the handful of followers. I can confirm that she only talks down on people like this. And here's why she does this. Ariel is not only incapable of engaging with arguments made by the people she covers. No, if she was able to do this, she'd actually take on someone more prominent, who actually has a voice or a platform in the space to be on what you would call, I guess, equal footing of sorts. But she's either too cowardly to expose herself to the same size of audience she constantly exposes these poor kids to because of the backlash that she might receive, or she's simply not smart enough to actually defend her positions when not using armchair psychology to back her up. So instead she takes the easy and safe way out. She finds kids on TikTok, uses them as representation for what the left is supposedly doing or saying. Like this, she doesn't have to engage with any critical thinking whatsoever, while also painting her opposition as psychologically challenged with one broad brushstroke. But the psychological terms also serve another purpose. Because she never argues to counter her opposition, she needs some form of legitimacy to actually, make her look smarter than her opponent. So she uses big words like this.
Voluntary emotional facial actions.
Or this.
These types of people make me feel worse each day and give me the nervous shits.
To give her the appearance of being smart without actually having any of the substance to back it up. But this doesn't matter to her viewers. They aren't here for a critical breakdown of a group's philosophy. No, they're here because they all share one thing, their homophobic worldview. Okay guys, that was it already. I know it's been a bit more, of a shorter one, but yeah, thank you for watching, tuning in and all that, and maybe even subscribing, because, if you do, you'd be here and you could, later on when I'm like real famous, you can say, I was there before 1,000 subscribers. And I don't know about you, I think that's pretty cool, so, go ahead, do your part, make me famous. I feed my God complex. No, for real now. Thank you guys. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and much love. Bye bye for now, bitches. Mwah. Cheers.